Think about the last meeting you sat through. People talked, decisions got made. Someone said they would follow up, and everyone nodded and moved on. Now, here is the uncomfortable question. A week later, how much of what you agreed to actually happened? For most small businesses, the honest answer is not much. The meeting felt productive in the room, but the moment it ended, the decisions started leaking away. Notes got scribbled and never read again. The action items lived in one person's memory, and the same topics came back around at the next meeting because nobody moved them forward. Today, I want to show you how to fix that with an AI assistant, turning the messy recording or the rough notes from any meeting into clean, organized notes, and, more importantly, a clear list of action items you can actually act on. One quick and honest note before we start. Meetings often contain sensitive things, client names, numbers, private plans. So being thoughtful about privacy is part of doing this properly, and we will come back to that. This is practical education, not magic. The AI does the sorting and summarizing, the judgment stays yours. The meeting that vanishes. Let us name where most businesses are stuck and call it level 0. At level 0, the meeting is the end of the process instead of the middle of it. Everyone gathers, talks for an hour, and then walks out with a vague sense of what was decided and no shared record of who is doing what. Maybe one person took notes, but those notes are a wall of half sentences that only make sense to them and often not even to them a week later. The action items, the actual things that were supposed to happen next, are scattered through the conversation and never pulled into one place. So nothing gets assigned, nothing gets a deadline, and nothing gets checked. The other version of level 0 is just as common. You record the meeting, but the file sits untouched, because reading back an hour of rambling conversation to find the 3 decisions that mattered is a job nobody has time for. Either way, the value of the meeting evaporates within a day. That is not a people problem. It is a missing system. Notes are not the point. Level 1 starts with one shift in how you think about a meeting. The notes are not the point. The action items are. A beautiful set of meeting minutes that nobody reads changes nothing. What actually moves your business forward is a short, clear answer to 3 questions. What did we decide? Who is doing what next and by when? Everything else is background. Once you see a meeting that way, the job of your AI assistant becomes obvious. You are not asking it to transcribe every word, you already have the words. You are asking it to read everything that was said, pull out the decisions and the next steps, and hand them to you in a form you can act on the same afternoon. This is exactly the kind of work AI is good at, taking a long, messy, unstructured conversation and turning it into a short, structured list. It does not get bored halfway through, it does not skim, and it does not forget the thing someone mentioned in the last 5 minutes. You bring the raw meeting. It brings the structure, what the AI needs from you. So what do you actually hand the AI? The input is simply a record of what was said. The easiest version is a transcript, the text of the meeting. Most video call tools can now produce one automatically. And if you meet in person, a phone recording that you turn into text works just as well. You do not need special equipment or a perfect recording. Even your own rough notes are enough to start with, though the more complete the record, the better the result. The richer it is, the more the AI has to work with. So a full transcript will always give you a cleaner list than 3 scribbled lines. One thing worth doing upfront is giving the AI a little context. What kind of meeting this was, who was in the room, and what you care about getting out of it. A sales call, a team check-in, and a supplier negotiation all need different things pulled out. And a sentence of context helps the AI know what to look for. The repeatable workflow. Now here is the actual workflow, because this is the part you can copy and reuse for every meeting from now on. It is 5 steps, and after the first time it takes just a few minutes. Step 1. Capture the meeting, a transcript, a recording turned into text, or your own notes. Step 2. Hand it to the AI and ask it, in plain words, to summarize the key decisions and discussion points. That gives you the clean notes. Step 3, and this is the important one. Ask it to pull out every action item as a separate list, and for each one to name who is responsible and any deadline that was mentioned. Step 4, you review. You read the list, fix anything the AI misread, add an owner or a due date it could not infer, and delete anything that is not really a task. Step 5. You send it out, sharing the action items with the people who agreed to them so everyone leaves with the same list. Capture, summarize, extract the actions, review and share. That is the whole loop, and it works for any meeting you run. One meeting, one list. Let me make that concrete with a made-up example. Picture a small design studio and call the owner Daniel. Daniel is not a real person, just a stand-in for a lot of owners I talk to. On Tuesday, Daniel runs a 40-minute project meeting with his team of 4, covering 3 client jobs. Normally, that meeting would end and everyone would half remember their part. This time, the call tool gives him a transcript. He pastes it into the AI and asks for a summary of the decisions, then asks for a clean list of action items with an owner and a deadline for each. A minute later, he has both. The notes lay out what was decided on each of the 3 jobs. The action list has 6 clear items, each with a name and a date, including 2 that Daniel had completely forgotten were mentioned. He reads through, corrects one deadline the AI guessed wrong, assigns an owner it left blank, and removes a line that was just chit-chat. Then he sends the list to his team. Total time, about 5 minutes, and every person walks away knowing exactly what they own. That is level 1, keeping it accurate and private. Now 2 things you must not skip, because this is where it goes right or wrong. The first is accuracy. An AI can mishear a name, attach the wrong person to a task, or invent a deadline that was never actually agreed. So you always read the list against what you remember before you send it. This is quick because you were in the meeting, and a 30-second check stops a wrong action item from going out with your name on it. If the AI is confident about something you do not recognize, treat that as a flag, not a fact. The second, and this matters more for meetings than almost anything else, is privacy. Meetings hold sensitive material, client details, staff matters, numbers you would never post publicly. So be thoughtful about where this information goes. The approach we teach is to keep the work on your own computer with tools that process your material locally, rather than sending it off somewhere you cannot see. When in doubt, leave the most sensitive details out of what you hand the AI. So what do you actually get out of this? 3 things. First, meetings stop leaking. Every decision and every next step lands in one clear place, so the work you agreed to actually gets done instead of quietly disappearing. Second, accountability becomes easy and gentle. When everyone leaves with the same written list of who owns what and by when, follow-up stops being about chasing people and starts being about a shared record nobody can misremember. Third, you get your time back. The half hour someone used to spend writing up notes shrinks to a few minutes of reviewing a draft the AI already built. And there is a quieter 4th benefit. Your meetings themselves get better. Because once people know the actions will be captured and shared, they show up sharper and the conversation gets tighter. You are running a small, repeatable system that turns talk into finished work. A simple way to start. If you want to try this, here is the low-effort way to begin, and it is simpler than you expect. Do not roll it out across every meeting at once. Just take your very next meeting, the ordinary one already on your calendar for tomorrow. Turn on the transcript if your call tool offers it, or jot your usual notes. Afterward, hand that one record to the AI, ask for a summary and a list of action items with owners and deadlines. Spend 2 minutes cleaning it up and send it to whoever was there. That is it. Run the loop once on one real meeting, and you will feel the difference between walking away with a vague memory and walking away with a clear shared list. The system gets faster every time, and within a couple of weeks it stops being a task you remember to do and becomes just how your meetings end. The honest limits, and because I promised no hype, here are the honest limits. The AI does not attend your meeting or understand your business the way you do. It works from the record you give it. So if the transcript is garbled or your notes are thin, the action list will be shaky too. It can misattribute a task or miss a subtle decision that was implied but never said plainly, which is exactly why the review step is not an optional extra. It is the job. It also cannot chase people for you or make anyone do the work. It only makes the work clear. And it will state a wrong name or a wrong date with complete confidence if you let it. So you stay the final check. Bring a decent record, review before you send, mind the privacy of sensitive material, and it earns its place in how you run meetings. Skip those and you have just automated a mess. Quick recap. Let me pull it together. Level 0 is a meeting that ends and evaporates. Notes nobody reads and action items nobody tracks. Level 1 is handing the record of the meeting to an AI assistant and asking it for two things: a clean summary of the decisions and a clear list of action items with an owner and a deadline for each. The workflow is 5 steps. Capture the meeting, summarize the decisions, extract the action items, review and correct, and share the list with your team. You always check it against what you remember, and you always mind the privacy of sensitive content, because that is what makes this both safe and genuinely useful. Talk in, finished workout, in a fraction of the time. If your meetings have a habit of ending with good intentions and no follow-through, this is the workflow that ends that, and we made a free step-by-step course that walks you from level 0 to level 1 in plain language, with no jargon and no technical background needed. It shows you how to get an AI assistant onto your own computer, working with your real material and keeping it private, so you can try this on your own meetings instead of taking my word for it. Head to afirstasia.com/level1 and take the free course. Do it once. Turn one ordinary meeting into a clean set of notes and a shared list of action items, and feel the difference for yourself. And if you want more of this, practical AI workflows built for SME owners, honest and no hype, then subscribe. Level 1 is right there. Go take the step.